He does.
Prediction? Yes, prediction. Pain.
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad, this. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. Because sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just, I hate that I'm scared.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war, maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go! Way
I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate you.
Good timing.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it. All right, thank you for another Fight for Boxing podcast special with my man, the myth, the legend in the house, Cano, Loco from Cano Loco Sports. What's up, brother? Glad to have you on.
What's going on, Sean Hicks, man? It's always a pleasure to chop it up with you. We have the most engaging conversations on the phone, man. So, it's a pleasure to finally do this live and in person so people can hear the way me and you go back and forth. And shout out to Dorian. He's here.
What up, Dorian? Yeah, thank you so much, man. Really excited and, feeling good. The last time we talked about this, it was kind of, gloom and doom and kind of feeling bad about how things were going. The pandemic is still currently going on, but things are slowly opening back up. Excited about that. Definitely excited about the fact that, salute to Brandon, that we have an opportunity to where, the gyms are getting back in motion, getting back into the swing of things. Unfortunately, not all of them were able to open back up, but we still want to put the word out there, fight for boxing, and let people know that, support their local boxing scene, support the boxers, and just kind of, get some positive vibes. So that's what we're going to hear today. And then, of course, Cano and I are going to get into as far as, where it's kind of a ripple effect. The gyms, who's in the gyms, the amateurs turn to prospects, turn to pros. So can't have Cano on. It'd be a crime to have my man on and not talk about PR prospects. So we're going to touch on that because when he was on with the last show, there was definitely some things that we had to touch on as far as he was on one of our most popular shows, episode 16, where we talked about ranking the top 5 PR prospects. So we'll be revisiting that a little bit and getting to it. But first, I want to go ahead and say thank you to Christine Lopez. She was on with the previous Fight for Boxing podcast, the original one that I did with her and David Nuno out of Houston. And we talked about, her gym and the struggles, but thank God she's able to keep it going. Her gym is still up and active. So, much happiness with that. Definitely continue to support her. Let her know, how much we appreciate her. And, actually right now, I'm in the process of writing an article on her in her gym. So definitely happy about that. All right. So real quick, just want to share some information with you guys as far as like the gyms that are opening back up.
Brandon Detres, Shakur versus Caraballo, La Sombra, June 9th card. I heard that wasn't still completely finalized, but yeah, I talked to Dorian about that earlier this morning. Future boxing stars on the rise. Okay.
All right. So in this article, I had an opportunity where I talked to some guys that we've had on several times on our show, the EnVivo podcast, Hector and his team from Sweat Boxing. So they were open their gym back up on Thursday, post-pandemic. Touched a little bit about Hector and his experience. He actually was a boxer for the Mexican team for the Olympics. So he has a boxing pedigree as a welterweight. He actually only lost. I don't think he only has one loss, if that. I don't think he retired with a loss. That he had to retire because of a hand injury. He's actually talked about coming back. One of my favorite fighters and just an all-around great guy is Mark Vasquez, a fan favorite, to the point where he's a fan favorite. Cano, I know he's probably not going to like this, but we did a little Twitter poll, and he actually balloted Xander. And Xander was aware of the poll. He liked the poll. He even retweeted it for his fans. But my man, Mark Vasquez, still came through with more votes. So, kind of surprising there. But much respect to him. Big guy, 6'2", vicious puncher. Really, really good fighter. And then the man, you got to talk about Listo Gaitan. He's kind of like the Dallas cash cow, if you will, like our version of Canelo here. He's so popular. As soon as they announce him on the card sells out before people even know the price. Can you imagine that, Cano? You could sell something before people know how much it is. That's a dream.
Yeah, that's a dream, man. And about that list, though, with Vasquez, look, man, he doesn't belong number one. But it's like I try to tell people all the time, man, if you're in that top 5 list, you shouldn't feel disrespected because, man, that's still elite company if you really sit back and think about it. And everybody, all of the people in this world are going to have a different opinion as to why this and why is that. And so, I'm kind of glad he's not number one, man. That would makes him hungrier.
Hey, absolutely, right? Absolutely. We'll touch on that a little bit more. A great quote that my man, Mark Vasquez, has, he got from his father. Talent means nothing without hard work. Definitely believe in that. And he actually wanted me to put in the article. Can't wait to show everyone and all the people who voted for me on the Twitter poll from Long Live Boxing what we're going to do for the next fight. So he's pumped up. And again, Listo, and this is why I'm so glad I started writing again, because it forces you to research. Cano puts a lot of great video content out there, and but it makes you want to dig deeper. And sometimes I get disappointed because there's not more information about the fighters. So he's bringing awareness to a lot of the Boricua fighters, a lot of the PR fighters. And maybe there's more information that's, online, and maybe it's not in English. I don't know. But I think the more information in all platforms and all types of media is going to help everyone out. Because I learned myself. I've talked to this man several times, Rafa Listo Gaitan, several times, and I had no idea his resume as far as he's amateur background, 7-time Gold Glove, Junior Olympic champion, Texas champion, national silver, bronze medalist. So then he got signed by Mikey Garcia Promotion. So, and again, like I said, he sells out. They put his name on the card. That card's going to sell out. And he has another quote himself from his father. I like this quote as well. Pain is temporary. Pride is forever. That means a lot. He said he keeps that in mind while I'm training or in the ring sparring. It always allowed me to give even more, to push myself through whatever I'm feeling, whatever it myself. I'm getting tired, workload, or I'm getting caught with a good shot in sparring. So that's him, and that's the shot of the whole team. Actually, if you look real close, you can see me and then Manny. Who fortunately couldn't join us, but they do great things there, and I'm so glad that they're back. And touching on, as far as being back, this is kind of touching on some of the things and restrictions they have, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Cano. So as hard as it is to run and manage any business, but a gym, you're dealing with people, they're under stress. They use that to kind of get away. Some are there for professional reasons, as far as getting in shape, because that's their what they do for a living. You have to have 12 people at the most, as far as they have boot camps that they do. And actually, when they opened up, they had a boot camp that they opened up on Thursday. It opened up at night. They actually want to do something different. They had a black light going on. They had a DJ. They had lights. I mean, they had told people to wear neon. So making it fun. As far as getting people engaged as far as working out. So they're limited as far as their classes. You got to put RSVPs. They're not going to be allowing or providing gloves or wraps, equipment they provide throughout the gym. Everything will be deeply sanitized and cleaned off. And, they just want to make sure they keep the disinfectant, rigorous practices, cleaning, and 6 feet of separation, because, they want to make sure they keep the party going, so to speak. So,
yeah, correct.
What do you think about that, Cano?
I mean, listen, man, my thoughts on all of this, man, is that I'm okay with it. I'm good with it because I'm sure that these fighters are anxious to get back in the ring. So anything that it takes for them to get prepared to get back in the ring and fighting again, they will do. And there's nothing wrong with reducing the people to 12. 12 is enough people in there. Them gyms, you know yourself from being in them, sometimes can get overcrowded. And that overcrowded sometimes interferes with training in certain gyms. There's some that are very disciplined and it doesn't, but for the most part, half of the gyms, it causes more distraction than it does good. So limiting it to 12 people, I can see it work. And as long as they get to spar, because sparring is so huge before you go into a fight and now if they can't spar, man, it's going to be a rough looking fights coming in.
Yeah, that's a great point. I want to get to this comment right here from a man, Brandon. Shout out to him in his podcast covering the New East Coast area. My gym is horrible. Wow. Right out the gate, Brandon. Trainers are well-known pro fighters, but the trainers in the gym are too annoying and expect so much from non-pros. Okay. I would say from my experience, maybe that's, from your experience, clearly when somebody sees me in the gym and they know I'm not a pro. So, I do know that it has to be hard for someone to be able to deal with, going from, 60 miles per hour with a high level professional athlete and then have to switch to like a soccer mom or somebody who's trying to get in shape and remain healthy. It probably is hard for them to switch gears. But that being said, from there, honestly, at this point, with things being so difficult, they're going to have to learn that skill, man. People have options, and we want these gyms to flourish and have success and to be successful. They got to, make those needed adjustments. But no, that's a good point.
I mean, I see what Brandon's saying, man, and he's a good friend of mine, know him personally and all that. But I gotta be completely honest, man. If you want that fire, man, you gotta get used to that, man. That's just gonna make you stronger, man. If you can put up with that shit, make you stronger, man. Every gym I've been to has been like that, man. And unless obviously like Sean, they obviously know he's not going in there to be a pro fighter. Brandon's in better shape, okay? So they're gonna expect more from him and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're just trying to drive you.
Yeah, they see me, they see a liability. They see Brandon, they see a possibility. So it's a
right.
No, that's true. But again, I'm very happy. I'm happy that Christine's opened up, and then again, shout out to my guys, they're open up as well. Another comment from Brandon. That's true, but plenty of the people leave the gym because the trainers are jerk offs and cursing. Brandon seemed like.
There'll never be a pro boxer, I'll tell you that. I'm gonna be straight up with you. And Dorian, if he's still in here, could probably co-sign what I'm saying. They'll probably never make pros.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have thick skin. Your whole life and career is based off disappointment. You're constantly being hit in the face and being put up against extreme tough situations. So, but yeah, gyms are made or broken by the trainers and the staff. That goes without question.
Mm-hmm.
So Dorian said feather hands.
Shout out to Dorian and DV Tracksuits. Go get Charles.
Hey,
5 for $3.99.
Hey, can't beat that, man. My man Dorian got me losing weight. I'm not eating cakes and cookies all day long. I'm trying to get me some tracksuits so I can be fly like my man Cano. Brandon again, bringing it again. Brandon's got some issues with his trainers. We have plenty of pros in our gym, but the way it's run is very amateurish, and they don't tell us how to wrap gloves. Brandon, you got to clean up. Maybe you need to come to Texas, brother, because that's the first thing they show you is they walk you through the process. In fact, I was actually going to talk on that, and, if she's hearing this right now, Dorian, gun show from Cano. One thing that I really like that Christine, before she even, gets anybody to the gym, she says she sits them down. They talk about the plan, the expectations. They assess their talent. They want to see how serious they are. I think in anything, to have expectations for yourself, you got to know what you're getting into. And so, like, basically, to what, Brandon's saying, it can be tough if somebody's, not willing to abide or adjust to your needs. So if you have a situation where you're excited, you feel appreciated, and you know what you're getting yourself into, at that point, it's on you. You know, that's honestly how I feel. Yeah. So
I don't know, man. You know, maybe they're taking it way overboard in that gym that he's talking about. I don't know the situation because I'm not there, but I mean, geez, man.
I want to go there now. I got to see what's up with Brandon.
At that point, I think you got to find you another gym.
Me and Vela sparring July. Oh, I see you. Is that serious? Oh, Dorian's got a new ad too as well. Dorian, gotta pay Pro Gym a fee for $199 or $9.99 amateur hour. Oh wow,
man! Hey, Dorian gonna get on him now. Dorian is gonna get on him. You should see the. I'm not gonna get into it, but the group chats we have. Oh man, Dorian be going off, man.
Maybe a Dorian unleashed.
Oh man.
So I'm gonna do a story on Christine and her sons. They're out of their Texas Select Boxing Gym. Let me share that real quick as far as what they're doing on and talk about walking the walk and talking the talk. Give props to her right now. This is her page, her information as far as her page. But she's selling masks right now that she's selling within the ring with Christine. That's her brand. $8 donation plus shipping and handling. I got one myself. She's constantly pushing the fighters that are part of the Olympic team or have aspiration to be Olympic team. And look at her go, right? She's still trying to get her eyesight 100%. She's still giving out to other brands. If you got any kind of brand, Dorian, you might want to give her a shout out. She's pushing you. She's pushing another website, right? As far as gloves that she does on here. Where's another one that I saw? She had some stuff. This guy's a local boxer that's out of Houston, Vamos Regio team. So that's a nice looking shirt, by the way. And then of course she's real good buddies. Well, I say buddies, but she's got a good professional relationship with Bomac, so she's always pushing his fighters, his stables well received. So, and she has some other stuff on there, of course, her mask, and you get the idea. So support her. I'm a big believer in supporting those who are putting in the work themselves. So she's not talking the talk, she's walking the walk, and I'm so excited about that. Props to her, and definitely excited. One thing I want to make sure that, hold on, I got to put this up. Brandon just will not let it go. All right, so Brandon, dope, bro. Sad these gyms have to close due to COVID. Absolutely. Yeah, one thing I was actually hoping that, I could have got some more input from Brandon, even though he hates the trainers down there. Shout out to New York City. He was talking about
You said it all right there, New York City.
all of the ones that are closing. So I was wondering what the impact was. Basically here, the impact as far as closures and gyms that haven't been able to kind of get back as of yet has been, it seems like about 60-40. So like 60 came back, about 40 were lost. Especially if somebody was trying to establish themselves. With Christine, her sons, and other fighters that were training there. They have the names and there's been established. They've been there for multiple years. I'm from, my observation, and it's only from the Texas perspective. If you had a gym and it was less than, 10 years, man, you were in trouble, because you didn't have that established name, that brand, or anybody that came there to kind of get the notoriety out there. But hey, other gyms here that are back open. Fort Worth, one of the first gyms that I was a part of with Coach Reyes, Coach Vincent. Reyes Gym in Fort Worth. Shout out to you guys. FHG in Fort Worth. Then, of course, Texas Select Boxing Gym out there in Rowlett, Texas. So any other ones, please make sure you hashtag Fight for Boxing. Anything as far as clothing, anything as far as merchandise, good, bad, and different. Like I said, it's not about me. Don't shoot the messenger, but make sure you hear the message. We just want people to, promote their product and get it out there because, there's a lot of different things you could do. And don't get discouraged if you did lose your gym. It is a building, but reestablish your name and your brand, get your name out there. Maybe you could do, virtual training, do Zooms. Whatever. If you're truly passionate about it, clearly in New York, they need good trainers. So maybe that's an opportunity there. But, the key thing is we can't give up. This is not just an issue of boxing. It's an issue of community. And, these people still need to have the support of, if they're working with our young people and the young people are the future, it's only right that we would support them.
Shout out to Bulldog Boxing Gym in Jacksonville. Shout out to Bulldog Boxing Gym, man. That's my gym. Let's go. Let's get it.
All right, shout them out for real. Yeah, shout out to in I don't want to say the wrong state, but shout out to Xander's Boxing Gym, Coach Centeno. Shout out to them. I think they're in
Davie, Florida. Sweatbox Boxing Gym.
All right, yeah, thank you. I'm not good geography. Didn't want to make it any worse than what.
Well, that's just goes to the same, man. The same thing Brandon said. There's a lot of Sweatbox Boxing Gyms. You know, that one just happens to be the one that Xander's at it, and that's in Davie, Florida. Yep. Shout out to them. We'll dig into that later, right? Or whenever you're ready.
I am ready now. All right. So let's get to it. That's why I have you on here. Good conversation. And of course, I know Brandon will be chomping out the bit as well. And if Dorian's still listening, or anybody else. Yeah. So I was happy, and because I'm like you guys are, I'm a realistic with myself. I know I'm going to be biased from the standpoint of if you're in my community, if you're Texas, Texas fighter, I'm going to support you. But I was shocked and surprised that Texas fighters, even though, hey, I love them, I was surprised that they were getting more, votes than, Xander, Steven Torres. So, hey, I know that's why it just shows even more so to have you guys, Dorian, Brandon, and you, Cano, to get the word out there that, man, what you're saying is true. We got to get the word out there for these Puerto Rican fighters. I saw a tweet yesterday. I was actually going to tag you and Brandon in, but I didn't want to start a riot, a virtual riot, where the guy was saying, are there any, I thought it was a joke, was there any hope for Puerto Rican boxers? Are there any prospects? I was like, man, I don't have all night.
Listen, I am tired of hearing that scenario being spoken of. And instead of look, if they're expecting another Tito or Wilfredo Gomez, listen, man, there's only one of them. You just got to support the generation that's coming up now. There's a lot of talent out there that has a big chance to bring Boricua boxing back to where it used to be, and maybe even surpass it if we just get ourselves behind them and push them. They're not. I can't stand that. I really can't. That irritates me when they say, Puerto Rico boxing is dead, and then these people are Puerto Rican. Like, are you really Puerto Rican? You're not gonna back your people. I mean, that's I can't even take them serious when they say that, because it lets me know that they're not doing their homework. Do you know how much talent is coming up right now?
Oh man, I'm so glad I brought that up. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't tag you in it, but it also reminded me back. And shout out to Brandon again. He said Frank Galarza is a good trainer, and Tito Vocero, solid pros too. So definitely shout out to them. Much respect. Dorian says post the link here to support her. Yeah, I'm going to get that up as well, Dorian. Thank you so much. We want to make sure to do that. But yeah, it reminds me that the work is just not done. And, what is it going to take? What it's going to take is we got to continue talking about, these young fighters, these up-and-coming fighters. And if people are still questioning, like you said, it's all about the expectation. So kind of going to that, it made me think about the show we did, which I love so much. With shout out to the Mannies, my brothers. We would talk about that was one of our favorite shows. Cano was just knowledgeable and the passion. It was just a great time had by all. And the thing about it, though, is, have to be honest, like we did talk about going into it, about how things would evolve and change. But you've already changed on a big piece of the puzzle, that being Xander Zayas, the man, El Duro, as you called him. He's not your number one, your clear defined number one. I'd like to kind of expand on that. Oh, wow. He's holding up 4 fingers.
Yeah, he's number 4.
All right. So kind of talk me through this, because like I said, I was taken aback. I think I texted you. I had to stop and think first before I did, because I didn't want. I was like, did something happen? I do some Google quick, and then I text you like, what's going on?
I'm surprised you didn't FaceTime me. That's how bad it hit you, didn't it?
It stopped me, man. I put it like this. I was getting ready to eat something, and I stopped. So it lets you know it was serious business. Serious business for sure.
So you would like for me to explain to you why I had moved him from positions?
Yes.
I can dig into that as a very, very simple. He still has doodle. Sander, you still has doodle. I still believe in you. I still think his ceiling is super high. I just think that at that time, I really didn't sit down and settle down and think about everything and analyze everything going on around boxing. And I thought I got to be honest, I was irresponsible at the time when I did that. I still think he's going to be a superstar. That's not taken away from him. He's still in my top 5. I got him at number 4. But at 17 years old, and with all the hype that's being put on him and all the pressure that's being put on him, I'm like, man, you know what? We need to pull back away from that and let him breathe a little bit and let him just build his career and get to where he needs to go without so many people pushing on his back. And I just think that's fair for him, man. But that's not knocking him at all, man, at all.
No, that's good. So basically reassessing expectations. So you went in there and you think like he's 17 years old. They're already mounting so much hype and excitement around him. Rightly so. Like right there, Brandon says, shout out, Xander is still young, but he's got the marketing background to be a huge star. Absolutely. Speaking of which, and we'll definitely touch on that, having that juggernaut of top rank behind him gives me so much hope and confidence. I'll be honest, and I'll stay in my lane as well. I was concerned initially, and I didn't tell Xander this because, I think the interview would have ended, but I was concerned about him joining the same company because I wanted him to have a completely different path than Felix Verdejo, right? But, because people, like you said, unfairly have written off Felix Verdejo for one loss, and he had the accident, all those different things. Again, totally different people, but I didn't want any burden on him. So going back to the point is, in fairness, he's starting off younger than Felix, did. He has huge expectations. So we don't want to, push him into something that's going to create a void or a vacuum of, disappointment because he'll be under a microscope for every little thing he does.
Yeah, I think that's kind of unfair the way they did Felix Verdejo because one loss is just one loss, man. You got many greats that fought before him that have 3, 4, even 6 losses, and they still did a lot of things. Miguel Cotto lost a few fights, and look, he still managed Hall of Fame, but listen, he's not done yet. I mean, do I have question marks? Of course I do. I still have question marks on him, but I'm not writing him off or throwing him in the trash because of it. It's a wait and see. So I'm going to sit back, wait, observe, and let it play out because you don't know until they get back in there and keep fighting. His next fight may tell us more. I was one of the few that I thought his last fight, I thought he looked good when everybody else was criticizing him. I'm like, man, look, okay, he boxed, okay? He didn't use his jab enough in the beginning, but then when he started using his jab in the second half of the fight, it was a thing of beauty. So what that he went the distance? It wasn't like he was fighting a chump.
No, it wasn't. Not at all. And I think like to come back the way he did, to your point as far as a particular fight, I think the Vera fight, right? I think I didn't have an issue with his performance. Again, coming off a loss, man, you don't know how people are going to react, man. I mean, to me,
and the accident and the motorcycle. I mean, there's a lot of things that was going on in his life, man.
Coaches and just everything, just a total paradigm shift of what his life was. Brandon says, shout out to him again. Verdejo will bounce back and be a world champ on the way. I know he's big. He's big on Verdejo as he should be, and you know what?
He's close to him.
Yeah,
he's close to him.
I definitely want to continue to support him too because, man, I know it's kind of shifting what we said as far as Xander, but I don't. That was my whole. I didn't want there to be that level of weight or of burden of responsibility. Like I have to carry Puerto Rican boxing, and I know the whole world as far as perspectives have changed because there's so many more fighters. There's so much more talent. Going back to your list, that's why you felt comfortable putting people over him because you feel there are other guys. I know that you're other guys that you're high on. You kind of want to touch on that as far as who are guys that you think that need to get more notoriety. In fact, I would even help you with this. I mean, it would be an honor to write about. Who would you like me to write about and why? Why do you think it's important that their story is heard?
2 fighters that really not getting the exposure or the respect they deserve would be to me. And one of them is going to be a biased one because he's my homie, but I would say Kent Cruz and Nestor Bravo. Those are the 2 that would need an article written on. Now, as far as who I got number 1 on my list is Orlando Capu Gonzalez. And I really believe he's going to be a superstar. I believe the sky's the limit for him, man. That's the Matrix, not Lomachenko. This man's the Matrix. to me. And I'll argue with anybody all day and night with them. I'll go to war for that man right there. Somebody say something wrong about him, I'm gonna speak up for him. Somebody get near him, I'll hit him for him. You know what I mean? I'll go to war for that one.
I love that passion. And Henley LeBron and Orlando Cubo Gonzalez, they're actually cousins, right?
They're cousins. Well, that's another one that they need to watch for. Henry Moncho LeBron. They're gonna fight on the same card on June 23rd. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that still got to get signed, sealed, and delivered, but that's gonna be in Las Vegas. But yeah, between both of them, and look, I got them split by a hair. It ain't like it's a big separation between them as far as talent goes.
Yeah, you know, and props to him as far as we talk about kind of getting the name out there. I don't need to write an article about them, and you know, I would love to, but they have it figured out. I mean, they have the show going on. That's, you know, I think that was such a great idea as far as a model, a structure of a fighter interviewing other fighters. It's a total different perspective as far as me just outside looking in. I mean, he's truly knows the ins and outs. I mean, he's active now. It's not like he's past his prime. He's in his prime. So I loved it. I mean, I didn't understand everything that was being said, but
well, see, the thing, what it is, man, I would say Ken Cruz and Nestor Bravo is the one that need the article. John Bowser also needs to get more respect too. But Nestor Bravo and Ken Cruz, they're not signed right now, so I would think they would benefit more from an article. Whereas, even though I love Orlando Capo Gonzalez and he's my number one prospect, you know, he's signed with Top Rank, and so is his cousin Moncho LeBron. So they're gonna be just fine. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
And they have the marketing thing down as far as, you know, promoting themselves. And so, hey, you know what? I'll go ahead and say it right here. Everybody listen to the podcast. You know, that's another thing that I'm going to go ahead and do more. Is definitely right, because it's kind of funny. You know what kind of brought this out to Cano is I went back to look at one of your videos, and it was when you were first introducing the world to Steven Torres, Double XL, man. Shout out to him. I was ready to find out more information. All right. And I couldn't find it as far as written. The only thing you could find is like Boxing Rec, small little one-liners about how he did on a card. It's not a lot. And I think that's, granted, I know the world is changing. Everybody wants to do the quick information. They like the videos. But I think that there's also a need and a void that needs to be filled by, you know, the written word, you know, things written out, you know, information. Like I said, I've been knowing this fighter who lives just, you know, not too far down the street from me, you know, these fighters, and I didn't know about their resume, you know, because that doesn't always come up on an interview, listing everything they did in the, you know, the amateurs, listing everything that they did to motivate them, you know, so those things get missed, and those opportunities to find out more, which draw you into them and tell their story, is missing. So for me, you know, that's definitely something that I want to definitely bring to the table. So I'd be honored to, you know, write about them. Based on what I know, so that's going to come from you, Brandon, and Dorian. But you know, I'll do my best to kind of honor, you know, what they're doing and get the word out there, because you know that's what I want to do now. From more on, you know, more on fighters as far as writing about them and kind of getting their story out there. And so yeah, thanks for bringing them up. And I saw your interviews with both of them. Nestor Bravo as well. He also jumped on one of your lives, and I know that helped bring some smiles. It brought smiles to my face as well. So I know he's got a good kind. He's a smart cat too, studying to be a lawyer. So I mean, his story is very fascinating, and I don't know who wouldn't be interested finding more about him. So that's awesome, man. And we definitely will do that, and I'll make sure to get the word out there to you and your people, so you guys can, you know, trash me and my site. But you know, the thing is,
I wouldn't do that, would I?
No, you wouldn't. Brandon would. But the thing is, we want to make sure that you know, all fighters get an opportunity. But I'll say in my lane, and I'll probably get some ugly comments for this, but yeah, I am not Puerto Rican. I'll say that, you know. But
let me touch up on Steven Torres, as you mentioned his name. Let me go ahead and speak upon him, because I don't make a lot of content on him, because, you know, honestly, he's still young in his career. Now, the reason I didn't say write an article on him is he's actually signed with PBC, so he's got a, you know, good backing as well. Now, the thing with Steven Torres is, I think a lot of people misunderstand when I post videos, so I don't even know how much more to dumb the shit down for them to understand what I'm saying without, you know, they're not getting what I'm saying. Steven Torres, heavyweight out of Reading, Pennsylvania, I think his ceiling is high. Now, If I tell you that he needs to work on things, people are automatically gonna think I hate the guy. I don't hate the guy. I love the guy. We have a heavyweight Puerto Rican boxer, you know. Now he's been training on since this pandemic, and I've seen that he has fixed in the, you know, he's fixed a lot of them flaws. He's not completely fixed them all, but they must understand that this guy came into boxing as an adult. He was not like the rest of these fighters that came in as a 4 or 5-year-old all their life boxing. You know, I mean, this is the guy that went and fought some MMA, and when he got his nose broken, he said, damn, I like that shit. You know, he liked that contact. So that's how he ended up going into boxing. Plus, he lost a lot of weight. He was 400 and some odd pounds. I can't remember the top of my head. He was 4 some change. He used boxing to come down in weight, then ended up loving the sport. And now he's boxing and he's working on his craft. Look, he's still young in the game. Let him develop. But I do think his ceiling is high. Otherwise, PBC wouldn't even sign him.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, as far as it is tough, and then shout out to Brandon too. He says, no problem, Sean. We'll head to the Puerto Rican fans. They are very critical and critique everything. All right, cool. So I can write it with no concerns at all. People are always going to say what they say. But yeah, back to Steven Torres. His story is phenomenal to me as far as, weight loss is a journey in itself. Then upon the journey to find something that you love so much. And then not only love, here's the thing. There's a lot of things I love too. I love to dance and play basketball. I can't do either, right? He loves, and he's a professional. He's making money from it. I need that for people to sink in. So like you said, he learned as an adult. He didn't have this, big amateur background, like at Lomachenko, a lot of these Eastern Bloc fighters. So he's, learning and getting better. I have seen the footage, and I know that, the footage game could be deceiving, but, the way he's hitting and working the mitts, I was actually kind of wondering, like, man, maybe he's losing too much weight. Like the last one I saw, he had lost, quite a bit. He was over looking like a cruiser. But the bottom line is people are going to say what they're going to say. They're going to definitely be critical and particular on how somebody performs and how they.
He's got a break chin. I don't know if you noticed in his last fight, but he got cleared super hard. And all right. Now let me give you mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're talking about heavyweights, man. Anybody else would have fell off of that clip he got.
Yeah, and that's important, and that's the thing, And I would like your thoughts on that too. That with heavyweights, the whole prospect thing is just totally different to me. As far as I don't see how he won't get promoted more, because the window is so small. Right. I know it was mentioned one time, that it was George Foreman. He said, like, because they were talking about on some show that he was a part of, how great it is they fought back in the day. He said, look, man, we have no choice because, if you fight somebody that nobody heard of, out of nowhere, and then they knock you out because we're so big, we get knocked out, your window is gone. So the windows are very small. That's why, they'll see a little bit of, back and forth and dragging their feet. Like, even right now, there's back and forth. But if you notice, they are talking about fighting each other because they know, nobody wants to, even though it worked out and, he actually became a star as well, to deal with a situation like an Andy Ruiz. A guy comes in there, he breaks up a potential mega fight, but, the things kind of work themselves out to where there's going to be multiple opportunities for everybody. It doesn't always work out that way. Let's say that you get knocked out by somebody else that's not, Andy Ruiz was ranked and he was, he'd only had one loss that was questionable from Parker.
I thought he won that fight, by the way.
Me too.
I thought he beat Parker. I thought he got robbed.
Yeah, exactly. So he's basically an undefeated fighter that, top rank dropped because of his motivation. So my point is, back to Steven Torres, do you think how patient can they be with him? He might get pushed into something like, 2021, 2022?
In the heavyweight division, it's going to move quicker in the heavyweights, man. Look how they're moving the Jagba. They're moving him kind of quick, and I'm going to tell you something. I think he gets hit more than Steven. So that's why I say I think his ceiling is higher. Jagba, he gets hits a lot.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are looking at him as somebody to look for and that he's going to be great. I don't see it. He doesn't pop off the screen for me. I think he's going to get knocked the hell out very soon.
Yeah, that's a great point. Once you get to those higher divisions, man, the chin, that can definitely separate you. Everybody's going to have power, but if you're getting touched up too much, that to me, that's a recipe for you getting knocked out. If you get knocked out, you're not going to be.
He just gets hit too much for me. Steven, he doesn't get hit like that. You know, he did get caught, you know, with a good punch on the last fight. Man, he shook that off, man. You know, then he went and knocked him down. You know, like, okay, you gave me yours, let me give you mine, see if you can take it back. You know, so man, he's got the heart of a lion, man. Gotta respect that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, he's at some point I would like to definitely, you know, get an opportunity to kind of write something up on him as well. Just because of the fact that, you know, I'm sure people way more talented than me will write something eventually because he had the backing. But until then, I'm going to write about Kent Cruz and then my man Nestor Bravo. Respect to them. And, you know, I'll make sure to share with everybody on your channel, my channel, and everybody. And, again, continue to support these fighters, continue to support these gyms. If you know anybody that's, you know, struggling right now, they're, you know, selling a shirt, whatever, use the hashtag #FightForBoxing. We got to be about what we say we care about. If we want to have these gyms and these fighters have success, then, you know, let's show that support. I mean, again, not to get all preachy, but, you know, I see a lot of people, you know, I recently saw a post, I wish your thoughts on this, Cano, where people were bringing back up about Wilder spiking, you know, Wilder having his water spiked and, like, come on, man, that fight.
Man, listen, I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm done with that. I'm done with that subject. Now, the subject I will touch up with Wilder was, I don't know if you heard what Bob Arum said about Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua says no matter what happens between Wilder and Fury, he is never, ever going to fight Wilder. So if Wilder somehow gets lucky, because I don't think he's going to beat Fury, let's just say for fun's sake, let's say he knocks out Fury. Anthony Joshua says he is not ever fighting Wilder. Ever. This came out of Bob Arum's mouth.
Ever's a long time. You know, but forever in boxing could change, you know, over time. It depends on how the dynamic is. When I hear that, as far as that he's never going to fight them, I'm thinking that he was advised that maybe to apply pressure, you know, maybe to get a response. Or do you think there's something more to that? Do you think that he knows what's up?
I'm honestly going to tell you, oh, man, let me plug my computer up. I didn't know my computer wasn't plugged. It said its battery's low. I plugged it up. We're not going nowhere. I honestly think, man, that I don't think Anthony Joshua has faith in himself to be able to beat Wilder, is my opinion, man. I know that's just an opinion. We're not in these folks' head, but that's just the feeling I get from it, man. And I don't know, man. I just think he does not want to step in there with Wilder. You know what? To me, he should be wanting to fight Wilder more now that he got the blueprint is out there on how to do it now.
Yeah, that's a great point. I would think that his confidence will be up, and I think that even the people that are, you know, backing him would be higher. So I'm kind of surprised by that. Again, that's what makes me think that because if there's a blueprint out, that he's, you know, maybe not the same level of talent, but he could execute a game plan like that. I mean, why not? You know, I think he's, you know, a smart boxer. That why would you be more apprehensive? To me, that, you know, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck is a duck, I'm thinking something's up. I'm thinking like there's some other ulterior, you know, motive behind it. But yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. I know going into, you know, this year, which is obviously turned completely upside down, I was so optimistic for, you know, having, you know, 2 unified divisions, maybe 3 with the heavyweight, and then, you know, the lightweight division, and then, you know, some Christmas miracle, something with the welters as well. But, you know, that's just not going to happen. But yeah, as far as Joshua, yeah, it does surprise me. It makes me just kind of want to, you know, dig into maybe there's something else behind it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, like if I'm in Joshua's team, I'm not scared of Wilder. Would you be?
Correct. Nope.
Exactly. So I'm thinking there's got to be something financial in there. And I did hear another thing too in regard to that, as far as, you know, Wilder would be willing to, and I know this was a big hot topic like a week ago, would he take the step aside money? He'd take the step aside money so they could have that unified champ. You know, the British could have their big UK champ, which would be a win for boxing. You know,
I don't see it happening. I don't see him stepping aside after what Bob Arum said.
Well, yeah, now. I mean, you know, Bob Arum's going to make sure he says what he needs to say. Because of that, that's definitely not going to happen. So it is what it is, man. So, you know, as the boxing world turns, for sure. But hey, man, thank you so much for being on here. and sharing your wisdom and input. And it's a great day. So the boxing gyms are back open. For those that aren't open, we're here to support you. Hashtag Fight for Boxing. Put the word out there. And, we got love for all the boxers coming up. Thank you, Cano, for being on and clarifying, like, hey, he's got the Puerto Rican fighters back. Xander is still his man, but just takes the pressure off. Be patient for Steven Torres. He's going to get it together. His story is amazing. And, Kent Cruz, Nestor Bravo story is coming. My goal is by this time next week, the article will be out. And hopefully I don't get crucified by your fans, Cano and Brandon.
Yo, they'll be out. You'll be out.
If it does, it does. But I mean, the stories have to be told. Any last word for you, brother?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. I want to give a special shout out to Tito Ocasio. He owns the gym down in Ocala, Florida. It's the John 316 boxing gym. He's got fighters down there like Carlos Arrieta and Jose Ocasio, Jaws Ocasio. I'm gonna be down there Thursday, so I'm gonna do a lot of filming and all that, and I'm gonna showcase a lot of other fighters that they got there because it ain't just those two fighters and stuff. But as always, it's always a pleasure to share the platform with you, Mr. Sean Hicks.
Oh man, thank you, sir. And I'm actually I'm definitely looking forward to that footage. Can't wait to check it out, and shout out to that gym as well. And those that already don't know, check them out. Cano Local Sports, check him out on his channel. If you don't know, Brandon's podcast got some great information, not just boxing, but he's big in the Northeast as far as like the Knicks, the Yankees, Brooklyn. He follows them as well. He got some good information there. I don't agree with it all, but hey, it's good to hear. I love perspective. Then of course, Dorian Valdez got the baddest sweatsuits in the land. Like I said,
baddest, hands down.
I'm eating like a pigeon right now, so I can hopefully fit them by the summer. Hopefully by July, August, I'll be able to actually wear one and not get laughed out the arena. So again, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Love, goodwill to everybody, and continue to fight for boxing. Thanks to another Fight for Boxing podcast, special episode number 3, and we out. Peace.
Peace.